The Great Hall of the Galactic Council was huge. Thousands of alien beings sat in floating chairs that moved around a massive dome. Light came from crystal walls that showed the stars outside. This was Nexus Prime, the most important space station in the galaxy. Council Speaker Vexithera stood at the center. She was tall and thin with blue skin and 4 eyes. Her voice was clear and strong as she spoke to everyone. "We are here to talk about the humans," she said. "They want to join our alliance. They sent their request 3 months ago." Many aliens in the room made angry sounds. Some hissed, others roared. A few made clicking noises with their mouths. Admiral Krondar stood up fast. He was big and had 4 strong arms. His skin was gray like stone. He was from the Makari people who had the strongest army in the galaxy. "They are only humans," he said loudly. "Why are we even talking about this? They are weak and stupid. They only left their home planet 50 years ago. We have traveled the stars for thousands of years." Many other aliens agreed with him. They made loud noises to show they liked what he said. Ambassador Thyssera moved her long, snake-like body. She had no legs but could move fast on her belly. Her people were very smart and good at making deals. "The humans have no special powers," she said with a hiss. "They cannot read minds like we can. They do not have computer chips in their brains. Their ships are made of cheap metal. They are not worth our time." Other council members started talking, all at once. Everyone was saying the humans were too weak and too dumb to join them. "Their weapons are old and slow," shouted one alien. "They only have a few ships," said another. "They know nothing about real science," called out a third. Far away from Nexus Prime, Admiral Taeho Kim sat in his office on Luna Station. Luna Station was built on Earth's moon. Through the big window he could see Earth. The blue and green planet looked beautiful in the black space. Taeho was 50 years old. His hair was turning gray. His face had lines from many years of hard work. He wore a simple blue uniform with silver stars on his shoulders. A young woman walked into his office. She was Commander So-Jin Park, his helper. She looked worried as she gave him a tablet computer. "Sir, the message from the Galactic Council just came in," she said. Taeho took the tablet and read it. His face did not change as he read the words. The Council said no to humans joining them. They used mean words. They called humans primitive and worthless. So Jin watched her boss read. She had worked with him for 5 years. She knew he was thinking hard about something important. "Sir, what should we do?" she asked. Taeho put down the tablet. He looked out at Earth again. He was quiet for a long time. Then he spoke. "Call Admiral Dongwoo Choi. Tell him to come here right away. Also, call Captain Yuna Lim. Tell them both that Operation Silent Thunder starts now." So-Jin's eyes got big. She had heard that name before but did not know what it meant. It was a secret project that only a few people knew about. "Right away, sir," she said, and left the room quickly. Taeho stood up and walked to the window. He put his hand on the cold glass. Earth looked so peaceful from here, but he knew that would not last long. 2 hours later, Admiral Dongwoo Choi arrived at Luna Station. He was younger than Taeho, but just as serious. His uniform was dark green, which meant he was in charge of the secret projects. Captain Yuna Lim came with him. She was 35 years old and very smart. She was one of the best ship captains in the human fleet. Her black hair was tied back tight and her eyes were sharp. The 3 of them sat around a small table in Taeho's office. Taeho showed them the message from the Galactic Council. "They think we are weak," he said. "They think we are stupid. They do not want us in their club." Dongwoo read the message and shook his head. "After everything we found out there in the dark, after all the work we did, they still think we are children." Yuna hit the table with her hand. "Let them think that. It will make things easier for us." Taeho nodded. "The council made their choice, now we make ours. How many ships do we have ready?" Dongwoo looked at his own tablet. 200 big ships are finished, 300 smaller ones. All of them have the new weapons. All of them have the new shields. The aliens have never seen anything like them. What about the special project? Taeho asked. The Jupiter facilities are working day and night, Dongwu said. We will have what we need when the time comes. Yuna leaned forward. Sir, are you sure about this? Once we show them what we can really do, there is no going back. Taeho was quiet again. He thought about all the human colonies in space. He thought about Earth with its 7 billion people. He thought about the alien races who thought humans were nothing. They had their chance to treat us fairly, he said. They chose to laugh at us instead. Now they will learn what humans can really do. The three officers talked for 2 more hours. They made plans. They decided which ships would go where. They picked the best captains for the most important jobs. When the meeting was over, Dongwu and Yuna left to start their work. Taeho stayed in his office alone. He picked up a picture from his desk. It showed his wife and 2 children back, on Earth. They were smiling and happy. He had not seen them for 6 months because of his secret work. I am doing this for you, he said to the picture. For all of us. Outside his window, space looked empty and peaceful. But Taeho knew that would change soon, very soon. In the dark space behind Jupiter, huge machines worked without stopping. They were building something the galaxy had never seen before, something that would change everything. The aliens thought humans were weak. They thought humans were stupid. They were about to learn how wrong they were. But that would have to wait. For now, Taeho had work to do. He had a fleet to prepare and a galaxy to surprise. 6 months had passed since the Galactic Council said no to the humans. Now something terrible was happening in the far parts of the galaxy. The Devourers had come back. These were not living beings like the aliens in the Council. They were machines. Very old machines that ate entire planets. They had been asleep for 1,000 years. Now they were awake and hungry. On Nexus Prime, alarms were ringing everywhere. Red lights flashed in all the hallways. Council Speaker Vexithera ran through the corridors as fast as she could. Her 4 eyes were wide with fear. She burst into the emergency meeting room. Many council members were already there. They all looked scared. Some were shaking. Others were making worried sounds. How many systems have we lost? Vexithera asked as she sat down. Admiral Krondar looked at the big screen on the wall. It showed a map of the galaxy. Red dots marked where the Devourers had attacked. There were too many red dots. 17 star systems in 3 weeks, he said. His voice was not strong like before. Now he sounded afraid. Billions of people are dead. The survivors are running away as fast as they can. Ambassador Thysera coiled her snake body tight. The refugee ships are coming here by the thousands. We do not have enough room for all of them. We do not have enough food. The big screen changed to show video from the attacked worlds. Everyone in the room watched in horror. The Devourers' ships were huge. Each one was as big as a moon. They were black and covered with sharp points. They moved slowly through space like giant spiders. When they reached a planet, they sent down smaller machines. These machines ate everything. Trees, rocks, water, buildings, people. Everything went into their metal mouths. Then they carried it back to the big ships. After the machines ate everything on a planet, the planet was empty. Just a gray ball of dust floating in space. At this speed, they will reach the important worlds in 1 year, said a small alien with many arms, maybe less. Everyone in the room was quiet. They all knew what this meant. The Devourers were coming for the heart of the galaxy. They were coming for the Council worlds. They were coming for everyone. Admiral Krondar stood up. His 4 arms shook as he talked. We need every ship we can find, every weapon, every soldier. Where are our friends? Who will help us fight? The Serpentine Collective is sending their best ships, Thysera said. But they only have 200 vessels that can fight the Devourers. The Zelani Empire will send 500 ships, Vexithara added. But our weapons have never worked well against Devourer armor. Other aliens spoke up. Each one promised ships and soldiers. But everyone knew it might not be enough. The Devourers had destroyed entire civilizations before. They were very hard to kill. An old alien with white fur raised his hand. What about the Outer Rim species? The smaller groups? Maybe they can help too. Krondar looked at his list. The Torgani Republic says they will fight. The Crystal Singers are sending their war fleet. Even the Gas Wanderers are offering to help. Wait, said a blue alien with big eyes. What about the humans? They have some ships, right? Should we ask them to help? The room got very quiet. Everyone remembered how they had treated the humans 6 months ago. They had said mean things. They had laughed at them. They had said humans were too weak to matter. Krondar made an angry sound. What can they do? Their ships are slow and weak. Their weapons are old. If they try to fight the Devourers, they will die in minutes. Maybe that is good enough, Thysera said quietly. Maybe they can slow the Devourers down for a little while. Give us more time to prepare. Vexithara thought about this. She did not like the idea of sending the humans to die, but she also knew that every minute counted. Every delay might save more lives. Should we warn them? She asked. The Devourers will reach human space in a few days. Why waste time? Krondar said. They will find out soon enough. Far away on Earth, President Mi Young-an was having her own emergency meeting. She sat in a deep bunker under the city of Seoul. The room was small and plain, just metal walls and simple chairs. Around the table sat the most important people in human government and military. General Jae Sung-won was there. He was in charge of all Earth's armies. Admiral Tae-ho Kim had flown down from Luna Station. Captain Yuna Lim stood behind him. On the wall was a big screen showing space around Earth. Red dots showed where the Devourers were. They were getting closer. How long do we have? President An asked. General Won looked at his computer. 48 hours until they reach our first colonies. Maybe 60 hours until they get to Earth. Everyone in the room knew what this meant. The Devourers would eat everything. Every human world, every human ship, every human person. President An was 55 years old. She had been president for 6 years. She had dealt with many problems before, wars, disasters, alien contact, but nothing like this. What about the Galactic Council? She asked. Will they help us? Admiral Tae-ho shook his head. They think we are too weak to matter. They probably think the Devourers will kill us quickly. Maybe that is better, said Captain Yuna. They do not know what we really have. They do not know what we can really do. President An looked around the table. These people had worked so hard for so many years. They had built things in secret. They had found things in the dark parts of space. They had learned things that the other aliens never imagined. Admiral Kim, she said. Is it time? Tae-ho nodded slowly. Yes, Madam President. We cannot hide anymore. The galaxy is about to learn what humans are really made of. President An stood up. Everyone else stood up too. Give the order, Admiral. Show them what we can do. Admiral Tae-ho picked up his communication device. He pressed a button that sent a message to secret bases all over human space. Behind Jupiter, near Saturn, around distant stars that nobody else knew about. This is Admiral Kim, he said into the device. Operation Silent Thunder is now active. All units begin deployment. It is time to save the galaxy. In space, hidden doors began to open. Ships that had been sleeping in the dark began to wake up. Weapons that had never been tested began to charge up. The Devourers were coming. They thought they would find weak humans with simple ships. They were about to get the biggest surprise of their very long lives. The Devourer fleet moved through space like a dark cloud. 50 giant ships, each one bigger than a city. They had eaten 17 star systems already. Now they were coming for the humans. Their leader was an ancient machine mind called the Prime Devourer. It had been alive for 10,000 years. It had eaten 1 million worlds. It did not care about the small creatures that lived on planets. It only cared about consuming everything. The Prime Devourer's sensors looked at human space. It saw a few small ships running away. It saw the planets with their cities and farms. It saw billions of humans who had no idea what was coming. Weak, the Prime Devourer said to itself. These creatures will not even slow us down. The Devourer fleet reached Proxima Centauri, the closest star to Earth. 3 planets circled this star. 2 million humans lived there in glass dome cities. The human ships in the area were small and old-looking. They sent out radio messages asking the Devourers to stop. They begged for mercy. The Prime Devourer ignored them. The Devourers began their work. Small machines flew down to the planets. They started eating the cities, the farms, the forests. Everything went into their metal stomachs. But then something strange happened. Space began to shimmer and bend. It looked like heat waves rising from hot ground. Reality itself seemed to twist and turn. Captain Yuna Lim stood on the bridge of her battleship, Soul's Pride. She watched her screens as the hidden fleet began to appear. Her ship had been waiting in a pocket of folded space, invisible to all sensors. "All ships, this is Captain Lim," she said into her microphone. "Begin. Materialization sequence. Show them what we really are." Around the Devourer fleet, space exploded with light. Hundreds of human ships appeared from nowhere. They were not the small, weak vessels the Devourers had seen before. These were huge warships covered in strange crystals and glowing metal. The Prime Devourer stopped eating the planet. Its ancient mind tried to understand what was happening. These ships had come from nowhere. They did not match any design in its memory banks. Admiral Taeho Kim's voice came over the communication systems. He was on the flagship Incheon Eternal, the largest ship humanity had ever built. "This is Admiral Taeho Kim to all Devourer vessels." His voice was calm and strong. "You have entered human space without permission. You have attacked our colonies. Leave now, or we will destroy you." The Prime Devourer sent a message back. Its voice was like grinding metal. "We are the Devourers. We have consumed galaxies. Your threats mean nothing to us, tiny creatures." "Then you have chosen to die," Admiral Taeho replied. The human fleet opened fire. The weapons they used were like nothing the galaxy had ever seen. Captain Yuna's ship fired gravity cannons that twisted space itself. The beams grabbed Devourer ships and crushed them like paper. Commander Hyunwoo Shin commanded a destroyer called Busan's Fury. His ship fired quantum torpedoes that passed through normal matter, like it was not there. The torpedoes appeared inside Devourer ships and exploded. Lieutenant Sora Kim piloted a fighter that moved in and out of normal space. Her ship appeared next to a Devourer's weapons, fired its plasma cannons, then vanished before the enemy could fight back. The Devourers tried to fight. They had weapons that could destroy planets. They had armor that had protected them for thousands of years. But the human weapons went through their defenses like they were made of smoke. Admiral Dongwoo Choi's ship, the Daegu Thunder, fired temporal missiles. These weapons traveled backward in time and hit their targets before they were fired. The Devourers could not understand how they were being hit by attacks that had not happened yet. Captain Minho Park commanded a cruiser that used phase technology. His ship, the Gwangju Storm, could exist in several dimensions at once. When the Devourers shot at it, their weapons passed right through. The Prime Devourer watched in shock as its fleet was torn apart. Ships that had survived for millions of years were being destroyed in minutes. Its ancient mind could not process what was happening. "Impossible," it transmitted. "These weapons should not exist. This technology is beyond your level." "You do not know what our level is," Admiral Taeho responded. "You never bothered to find out. A human ship called the Olsen Striker fired something new. It was a weapon that ate matter just like the Devourers did, but faster. The beam hit a Devourer ship and turned it to dust in seconds. Commander Jaemin Lee watched from his ship as another Devourer exploded. "Target their power cores," he ordered his weapons officer. "Let us send these metal vultures back to the void where they belong." The battle was not really a battle, it was destruction. The Devourers had expected to fight small human ships with simple weapons. Instead, they faced a fleet that used technology they could not understand. Captain Yoonji Cho's ship used probability weapons. These changed the chance of things happening. When a Devourer tried to fire its main gun, the weapon had a probability failure and exploded instead. Major Sung Ho Yoon commanded a squadron of attack ships that moved faster than light without using hyperspace. They appeared everywhere at once, striking from all directions before vanishing again. In 30 minutes, 47 of the 50 Devourer ships were destroyed. Only 3 remained, including the ship carrying the Prime Devourer. The Prime Devourer sent a message to its masters in the deep dark. The humans are not what we thought. They have weapons we do not understand. They are destroying us. But before the message could be sent, Captain Yuna's ship fired a communication disruptor. The quantum beam cut through space-time itself and destroyed the message before it left. No warnings, Yuna said quietly. Your friends will have to learn about us the hard way. The last 3 Devourer ships tried to run away, but human ships surrounded them on all sides. There was nowhere to go. Admiral Tejo's voice came over all communication channels. To any Devourers still alive, tell your masters this. Humanity is not prey. We are predators, and we are coming for you. The final Devourer ships exploded in balls of fire that could be seen from 50 light-years away. In the silence that followed, Captain Yuna looked at her tactical display. Where 50 enemy ships had been, now there was only empty space and debris. Admiral, she said into her communicator, the Proxima system is secure. All Devourer ships destroyed. We took no losses. Well done, Captain, Admiral Tejo replied. But this was just the beginning. Prepare the fleet for the next phase. Far away, alien sensors had detected the battle. Emergency messages were being sent to the Galactic Council. The news was spreading fast. The humans were not weak. They were not primitive. They had weapons that could destroy the most feared enemies in the galaxy. Everything the aliens thought they knew about humans was wrong. Everything was about to change. The news traveled across the galaxy faster than the fastest ships. The humans had destroyed an entire Devourer fleet. 50 ships that had eaten star systems for thousands of years were gone in 30 minutes. On Nexus Prime, the Galactic Council meeting room was in chaos. Aliens were shouting at each other in 100 different languages. Some were scared, others were angry. All of them were confused. Council Speaker Vexithara tried to restore order. Her 4 eyes looked at the battle footage that played on the main screen. Human ships appearing from nowhere. Weapons that bent space and time. Devourer ships exploding like firecrackers. This is impossible, she said, but her voice was weak. Our intelligence said the humans had maybe 50 ships. Old, ships with simple weapons. Admiral Krondar sat in his chair like a broken machine. His forearms hung at his sides. His gray skin had turned pale. All his life, he had been the strongest warrior in the galaxy. Now he felt like a child watching gods fight. Their weapons, he whispered. I have never seen anything like them. Where did they get such technology? Ambassador Thissera coiled and uncoiled nervously. Her snake-like body could not stay still. The sensors could barely track their ships. They moved through space like it was water. They appeared and disappeared at will. A small alien with many eyes stood up. Maybe the footage is fake. Maybe the humans are lying to scare us. But then more reports came in. Refugee ships from the battle zone brought survivors. They had seen it with their own eyes. The humans had weapons that could destroy anything. A door opened at the back of the meeting room. An old figure walked in slowly. It was Ancient Archive. Keeper Mordun, one of the Elder race. The Elders were the oldest species in the galaxy. They had been around since the beginning of time. Everyone in the room became quiet. Mordun had not appeared at a council meeting for over 1,000 years. If he was here, something very important was happening. Mordun was tall and thin. His skin was white like old bone. His eyes were black holes that seemed to look into your soul. When he spoke, his voice echoed like it came from far away. Foolish children, he said. You dismissed the humans because they were different from you. You laughed at them because they did not have your gifts. He walked to the center of the room. The air around him shimmered with ancient power. You have psionics, he continued. You can read minds and move objects with thought. You have neural implants that make you smarter. You have lived among the stars for thousands of years, and yet the humans have surpassed you all. The main screen changed to show images from deep space. These were places far from any star, dark and cold and empty. While you built your civilizations on known science, the humans went looking for the unknown. They found the ruins of the precursors, the first race to travel the stars. They found things you were too afraid to touch. The images showed human ships exploring ancient wrecks. They showed human scientists studying strange artifacts. They showed humans taking apart technology that was millions of years old. The precursors built machines that could bend reality itself, Morden explained. But they disappeared long ago, and their secrets were lost. The galaxy moved on, using simpler technology. Only the humans were brave enough to seek out what was hidden. Admiral Krondar found his voice. But why did we not know? Why did our spies not see what they were doing? Morden's black eyes turned to look at him. Because you thought they were beneath your notice. You sent your spies to watch their old ships and their simple weapons. You never looked deeper. The screen showed more images. Hidden construction facilities behind Jupiter's moons. Secret research stations in empty space. Fleets of advanced ships waiting in dimensional pockets. For 50 years while you ignored them, the humans have been preparing. They learned the secrets of the precursors. They built weapons that your science cannot understand. And now, when the galaxy needs them most, they have revealed themselves. Meanwhile, far from the council chambers, Admiral Tae-ho Kim was receiving troubling news on his flagship. Captain Su-min Jang had just returned from a deep space reconnaissance mission. Her ship, the Jeju Explorer, specialized in long-range sensors. "Admiral," she said as she entered his private office, "you need to see this." She activated a holographic display that showed the galaxy from above. Red dots marked Devourer fleets. There were many more red dots than before. "The fleet we destroyed was just the beginning," Su-min explained. "Our deep sensors have found 5 more Devourer fleets. Each one is bigger than the first, and they are all coming our way." Admiral Tae-ho studied the display carefully. Each fleet had over 100 ships. Some had more than 200. If they all attacked at once, even humanity's advanced weapons might not be enough. "How long do we have?" he asked. 3 weeks until the first fleet arrives. Maybe 4 weeks, until they all get here." Admiral Dongwu Choi's voice came through the communication system. He was commanding the defense of the Tau Ceti system, where 2 million humans lived on orbital stations. "Tae-ho, I am seeing the same sensor readings. This is not just a raid anymore, this is a full invasion. They want to wipe us out completely." Captain Unilim added her report from the Soul's Pride. "Our victory has made them angry. They are sending everything they have." Admiral Tae-ho was quiet for a moment. He thought about Earth with its 7 billion people. He thought about all the human colonies scattered across 50 star systems. He thought about the ships and weapons they had built in secret for 50 years. President Mi Young-an's face appeared on his communication screen. She was calling from the bunker in Seoul. "Admiral," she said, "I have been watching the reports. How bad is it?" "Bad, Madam President," Tae-ho admitted. "We can fight them, but we will need everything we have. Every ship, every weapon, every secret technology we have been saving." President An nodded. "Then, you have it, all of it. Do whatever it takes to protect our people." "There is something else," Tae-ho said. "The Galactic Council is finally paying attention to us. They want to help fight the Devourers." "After they laughed at us? After they said we were too weak to matter?" "Yes. But we might need their help. Even with all our advantages, fighting 5 Devourer fleets at once will not be easy." President An thought about this. Part of her wanted to tell the aliens to fight their own battles. They had been rude to humans. They had treated humans like children. But she also knew that millions of lives were at stake, human lives and alien lives. If the Devourers won, everyone would die. "Work with them if you must," she finally said. "But make it clear that we are partners, not servants. The days of aliens looking down on humans are over." Admiral Tae-ho smiled for the first time in days. "Yes, Madam President. I think they are starting to understand that already." On Nexus Prime, the Emergency Council meeting was still going on. More and more reports were coming in about the approaching Devourer fleets. Even the aliens who had laughed at humans were now scared. "We need them," Admiral Krondar said quietly. "We need the humans to fight with us. Their weapons are the only things that can stop the Devourers." Council Speaker Vexithara nodded. "Send a message to Admiral Kim. Tell him we want to discuss an alliance." But before she could give the order, a new communication came in. It was from Admiral Tejo himself. His face appeared on the main screen. He looked calm and confident. Behind him, human officers worked at stations filled with technology the aliens had never seen. "Members of the Galactic Council," he said. "I am Admiral Tejo Kim of the Human Defense Fleet. I understand you would like to discuss working together against the Devourers." The entire council chamber was silent. This human, who they had dismissed as primitive, was now their only hope for survival. "We are listening," Vexthera said. 3 weeks later, the greatest battle in galactic history began in the Sol system. Earth hung in space like a blue jewel, surrounded by the largest fleet ever assembled. 10,000 alien ships had come to help. Ships from the Zelani Empire, the Makari Dominion, the Serpentine Collective, and 100 other races. Their hulls gleamed in the sunlight as they took their positions around Earth's solar system. But even their impressive fleet looked small next to what humanity had brought. Admiral Tejo Kim stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Incheon Eternal. The ship was 5 kilometers long and built around a captured precursor artifact. Strange crystals covered its hull, glowing with power that made space itself bend around the vessel. Through the massive viewports, he could see the human fleet. 3,000 ships that looked like they came from a dream. Some were sleek and silver, moving like liquid mercury through space. Others were angular and black, covered in weapons that hummed with barely contained energy. "Admiral," Captain Yuna Lim's voice came through the communication system. "Long-range sensors are picking up the Devourer fleets, 5 separate groups just like intelligence predicted. Total count, over 800 ships." Tejo nodded. This would be the final test. Everything humanity had built, everything they had learned, would be put to the ultimate challenge. "Signal all ships," he ordered, "human and alien alike. The enemy approaches. Today we show the galaxy that some things are worth fighting for." The first Devourer fleet dropped out of hyperspace near Neptune. 200 black ships, each one a kilometer long, bristling with weapons that had destroyed civilizations. Their leader was the Grand Devourer, an ancient machine mind even older than the one humans had destroyed at Proxima Centauri. "Humans," the Grand Devourer's voice echoed across space. "You destroyed one of our scout fleets. Impressive for such primitive beings. But now you face our true power. Surrender and your deaths will be quick." President Myung-on's voice responded from Earth. "This is President On of the Human Republic. We do not surrender. We do not kneel. We fight." The battle began. Captain Woo Jin Lee commanded the stealth frigate Daegu's Shadow. His ship used precursor phase technology to slip between dimensions. One moment it was there, the next it was gone, appearing inside enemy formations to strike at their weakest points. "Phantom Squadron, follow my lead," he ordered his pilots. "Hit their command ships first." The squadron of stealth ships vanished from normal space, reappearing inside the Devourer formation. Their quantum torpedoes struck without warning, punching through armor that had protected the machines for thousands of years. Lieutenant Commander Hirin Nam led a fighter squadron that existed partially outside normal time. Her pilots could see attacks coming before they happened, dodge weapons that had already been fired, and strike targets in the past. "Time Storm Squadron engaging enemy fighters," she reported as her ships danced through space like ghosts. "We are hitting them in all time periods at once." The alien ships fought bravely alongside the humans. Admiral Krondar, his pride forgotten, commanded his Makari battlecruiser with skill and determination. Ambassador Thissera's serpentine ships used their natural flexibility to dodge enemy fire while striking back with plasma cannons. But it was the human ships that turned the tide. Commander Jinwoo Park's destroyer, the Pohang Lightning, fired gravity bombs that created miniature black holes. These weapons swallowed entire Devourer ships, crushing them down to nothing. Captain Ara Shin commanded a heavy cruiser that used temporal shields. When Devourer weapons hit her ship, the damage was sent backward in time to before the ship was built, so it never happened at all. Major Kyung Ho Yoon piloted a fighter that could exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. His weapons hit targets from directions that did not exist in normal space. The Devourers tried to adapt. They had fought for millions of years, learned from every battle, improved their tactics constantly. But the human weapons operated on principles their ancient minds could not grasp. Captain So Young Kim's battleship fired quantum disruptors that unmade matter at the subatomic level. Devourer armor simply stopped existing when the beams touched it. Commander Tae Jin Choi used probability cannons that changed the chances of things happening. Enemy weapons misfired. Hull plates developed sudden weaknesses. Critical systems failed, for no reason. The second Devourer fleet arrived from the direction of Mars, then the third from Venus. The fourth and fifth fleets dropped out of hyperspace near the asteroid belt, trying to surround the defending forces. Now there were over 800 Devourer ships against 13,000 defending vessels. The odds should have favored the machines. They were larger, older, more experienced. But experience meant nothing against weapons that rewrote the laws of physics. Admiral Dongwoo Choi commanded a squadron of heavy battleships armed with reality bombs. These weapons created pockets of space where different physical laws applied. Inside these pockets, Devourer ships found themselves unable to function as their own technology stopped working. Captain Min Seo Lee's light cruiser could split itself into multiple copies that existed in parallel dimensions. Each copy could fire independently, making it look like one ship was attacking from 20 directions at once. The battle raged for 6 hours. Space around Earth was filled with explosions, energy beams, and debris from destroyed ships. But slowly, inevitably, the tide turned in humanity's favor. The Grand Devourer, ancient beyond measure, found itself facing something it had never encountered before: defeat. Its massive ship was surrounded by human vessels that danced around its weapons like they were moving through water. "This is impossible," it transmitted on all frequencies. "We have consumed galaxies. We have destroyed species that ruled the stars for millions of years. How can primitives like you defeat us?" Admiral Taeho's face appeared on screens throughout the solar system. His voice was calm but firm as he gave his answer. "You call us primitive because we are different, because we do not have natural psionics or neural implants, because we have only been in space for 50 years. But you made the same mistake as everyone else. You confused being different with being weak." Another Devourer ship exploded, its ancient hull no match for human quantum weapons. "We humans have something you machines will never understand," Taeho continued. "We have curiosity. We have the courage to look into the dark and find what others fear to touch. We have the wisdom to learn from those who came before us." The Grand Devourer tried to escape, but human ships blocked every route. Captain Yuna's soul's pride fired the final shot, a temporal missile that struck the Grand Devourer in the past, present, and future simultaneously. The ancient machine exploded in a flash of light that could be seen from Saturn. When the light faded, the battle was over. 800 Devourer ships had been destroyed. The threat that had terrorized the galaxy for thousands of years was finally ended. In the silence that followed, Admiral Krondar's voice came over the communication channels. His tone was humble, respectful in a way it had never been before. "Admiral Kim," he said, "the Galactic Council formally requests humanity's membership in our alliance, as senior partners." But President An's response surprised everyone. "We thank you for the offer." Her voice came from Earth. "But humanity has learned to stand on its own feet. We will work with you as equals, as friends, but not as members of your council. The time when aliens could decide what humans are worth is over." The alien ships began to withdraw, their crews filled with new respect for the species they had once dismissed. But many stayed, wanting to learn more about humanity's incredible technology. 6 months later, Captain Yuna Lim, now promoted to Admiral, stood on the bridge of humanity's first extragalactic exploration ship. The massive vessel was preparing to leave the galaxy entirely, to explore what lay beyond the known stars. "Are you ready, Admiral?" asked her navigation officer. Yuna looked back at Earth one last time, then at the stars ahead. Unknown worlds waited out there, new mysteries to solve, new challenges to face. "Yes," she said. "Let us see what else is out there." The ship activated its precursor-based faster-than-light drive and vanished into the void between galaxies. Behind them, on every human ship and station, new words had been inscribed, words that had become humanity's motto, their promise to the universe. They called us only human. They were wrong about what that means. And in the deep places between stars, other ancient races stirred. They had been watching the battle. They had seen what humanity could do. Some were impressed. Others were concerned. But all of them now knew one thing for certain. The age of underestimating humans was over. Forever.